This is the Mind of the Meanie. Here are your hosts, the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard.
Peace world and welcome everybody to the Mind of the Meanie, your weekly peek into the world according to former WWE superstar and ECW original, the Blue Meanie. We'll cover wrestling, music, movies, sports, and lots of useless knowledge, all contained in the Mind of the Meanie. I'm your tour guide, Adam Barnard, and he is the Blue Meanie. Meanie! What's on your mind?
Hey, anything going on in wrestling? Interesting over the weekend. Saturday night.
I'm sitting here thinking about it, reflecting. There was the pay-per-view, there was the live event. There was a couple to carry the one.
On the afternoon show, there was a really good lucha show.
Yeah, there was the whole thing on AAA was pretty solid.
That was
interesting. Actually, there is one thing.
Yes,
there's a major thing. R-Truth has returned.
Yeah,
to WWE. We're going to start the show with that, but we want to say good morning to our pod squad and all of our friends joining us here. Brass Ring Media. We got Mass Sanity here. Good morning, sir. We got Aaron Atherton here. Good morning, y'all. Thank you for joining us. Pod Squad member Jesse Brown. Good morning, friends. Good morning. And a Baba Booey to you, sir. And our veteran Pod Squad member Vanessa Bello is here.
Hello, Vanessa.
Good morning. Thank you all for joining us so much. We appreciate you. Don't forget at the top of the show, patreon.com/mindofthemeanie. Tiers start at just $10. Join us each and every week, and you get to watch the show early and ad-free. But Meanie, I got to talk about it. We're going to talk about it at the top of the program here. It's been a wild week. Originally, my plan was to talk to you about the release of R-Truth, which was very crazy, very surprising for a lot of people, but shockingly, he makes his return last night during the main event at Money in the Bank in Los Angeles, California.
Yeah.
And I want to get your thoughts on his release, what you were thinking. I know you had a great tweet last night as well, so I want to make sure we mention that, but just kind of get your overall thoughts on the R-Truth situation.
Yeah, man. When Truth, initially tweeted out that he's been released, or posted on all of his social media that he's been released, or not, his contract wasn't going to be renewed.
Mm-hmm.
Wrestling world was shocked. R-Truth is somebody I thought would be a WWE lifer. He consummate professional, constantly, always entertaining. He would be he would bring up he's the guy who would lighten the mood in WWE. I could kind of relate to having a similar role in ECW, but you think of he's had I was like, man, he's had a hell of a run in WWE when you think about it. I first met R-Truth in 2000 when WWE sent me down to Memphis, and met him at the hotel we're staying at, and then we started doing shows together, working together, and traveling together. And he was a great guy. Fell in love with him. He became one of my favorite people in the business. So see everything he got to do throughout the wrestling business, and he had just had this they at Mania, he legit got involved in Cena's match.
Yeah,
and that's a big spot. And and then he has the thing at the post show press conference where Cena puts him through the table. That's a big deal. So then they have him work with Cena at Saturday night's main event as Ron Cena, and a big match. They put out the Ron Cena shirts. They sell out.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden they announced that he announces that he's being released, or his contract's not being renewed, and it made no sense in the world. And I was like, man, hopefully somebody up there listens and reconsiders to what the fans are saying. And last night watching Money in the Bank during the main event tag match, Cody and Jay versus Cena and Logan Paul. The matches, Cena's been doing the deal where, the last couple matches he's won with hitting his opponent with the belt, and hits Cody with the belt, and somebody hops the rail, and this hooded figure hops the rail, and spears Cena, starts punching him, and as soon as he went down and started punching Cena, this person in the hoodie, unfortunately for him, but fortunately for me, I saw the back of the hoodie lift up, and I was like, oh, that's R-Truth.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there going, R-Truth. And people are like, what are you talking about? I'm like, that's R-Truth. And he pops up and takes the hoodie off and reveals that he's R-Truth. And, he gives Cena the business and runs, and it's him with the belt and runs out, and it's thunderous pop,
Yeah. That pop was crazy loud, man. Crazy.
Yeah. Amazing. And then the online debates, started.
Yeah.
Was his release of work? Was it a shoot? And I had my 2 cents about that too.
Well, I was going to say, a lot of people have been discussing that, and I don't claim to have any insider knowledge when it comes to anything. Like, I don't do news that way, but I did connect with some of my people when it came to the R-Truth release, just because it was so shocking, and it was like, is this real? Like, are you guys kidding me? And it was not a work. He was not a work. He was told his contract was expiring. They were not renewing it. And people were really pissed. People were really, truly pissed about it, because he's just a beloved guy in the locker room. But even James, my oldest son, we were watching it last night, and he was like, he's watching, he sees a guy jump in the ring. He's like, I bet that's R-Truth. Like, he just said it, And it was like, oh shit, you're right. He freaking jumped and popped off the sofa, But
yeah. Well, I got two theories.
Yeah.
One, and either way, I don't care, because I'm happy R-Truth is still in WWE. But I have 2 theories. Now, if it was a shoot, I was in a similar situation. Like I posted on my social media last night. If it's a shoot, they release, or say, they tell R-Truth his contract's not going to be renewed. Then he, posts about it on social media. The fans have this outcry of support for him, fans and talent alike, even to the point where Road Dogg does a post and has to delete it because he kind of takes a shot at management. And the outpouring of people talking about R-Truth, and giving him love, and hey, maybe WWE, and their social media people, or the people they have, looking at, the buzz and the wrestling, are going, oh man, did we make a mistake with R-Truth? And maybe they reconsidered, brought him back. Similarly for me, the week after WrestleMania 15, we were at a show in Michigan, and Bruce and JR pulled me aside and said, hey, fortunately, we gotta let you go, blah blah blah. And I go on social media. Well, it wasn't social media then. I wrote back then we did blogs or whatever they call them, and I wrote, hey, WWE's releasing me. Thank you for WWE for the opportunity, to see the world, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, there's this online fan campaign called Save the Meanie, and it's run by the guys who did strictly ECW. They're the people who fought to get ECW on pay-per-view. So, I get a call. I'm at home, and Jim Ross gives me a call. Goes, well, Meanie, there's been a reprieve from the warden, and we decided to give you another chance. And I get back to TVs, and Vince Russo's like, yeah, they we got so many emails. They shut down our email system and our call banks, just calling. And Russo said, he said to Vince, maybe we made, we didn't even give this guy a chance. So it's a different situations. Our Truth had been there for a while. I had just, started there. But, fan support was the determining factor in both situations of somebody being brought back. Now, if it's a work, it's a very, very well done work.
Mm-hmm.
I'll say this. It's, and you go, well, why would you work this? Why would you do an angle where you, or a storyline where you, fire our Truth? And there's one tell that makes me I'm not convinced either way. I'm happy he's back, but if it was a work, I'm thinking, maybe our Truth is thinking about, starting to wind it down a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And he wants to have one last run as a serious character, right? Imagine this. And then he, goes to all say, I'm thinking about winding it down. I'll have a last run as a serious character. Well, how do we have him as a serious character? Here's what we'll do. We'll release him, and then it comes back. And as soon as he's back, they have these ads for T-shirts to say Ron Killings.
Right.
So if it is a work, I think that this whole thing was to have that change from our Truth to Ron Killings, to where he went from being, his last big, lighthearted moment was him coming out as Ron Cena.
Yeah.
And, doing stuff with John Cena, which, caused it. And then he gets released and he comes back angry as Ron Killings.
Mm-hmm.
And people are like, well, there's a lot of people behind the scenes that knew. It's like, well, yeah, you don't tell the boys it's a work because you don't know who's the stooge,
Right.
Yeah, you tell the boys it's a work, and then they go to, the wrestling meeting and go, oh, yeah, it's a work. And then, they report online, oh, yeah, we've been told this is just strictly storyline. And then it kills the impact of when he comes back.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. That's a very valid response there. I know Jesse here.
Did Vince McMahon tell the boys he was going to screw Bret Hart?
Jesse Brown said it in the chat here. He said, according to the merch page, they have him going by his real name now, which again, that was my thought too, man, was like, when I'm watching it, he jumps in the ring. He's got the black hood. He's got the mask. Like, our Truth is that character that's very goofy, right? Like, that's just who he's been. And it's worked out for him his entire career. But it seemed like there was a very different look in his eye at Money in the Bank last night. And my thought was, I wonder if they're going to make this a serious run for him. Not necessarily like a well, like to your point, as far as like his last run, like this is it, like he's going to be done after this. Cause I think he's in his 50s, right?
Yeah.
So
he doesn't look it, but yeah.
Hell no. Now he looks great. He looks like he's in his late 30s, but this could be his last run. Maybe that's what they're doing, is they're incorporating him as the serious character. He's going to be the foil to the John Cena heel turn. Like, there's all the things are spinning in my head right now, but I really think that this is going to be something spectacular. But I will say, just to go back to your Save the Meanie campaign, that's still pretty fucking cool that people did that. That's still a really solid thing that happened. And I'm sure that made you feel amazing. Like, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah, it would just, man, it's just, you get the WWE, like I, told the story, I was finally able to pay my family back and, take care of my family financially. And when they released me, the first thing I said is, man, I got family to take care of. And, they, of course, they were given orders, no offense, I wasn't mad at them. I was mad at the message,
Yeah.
And then, the strictly ECW crew, Tony Lewis and his whole posse, his whole crew, went to bat for me and just gave out all the email information and the phone numbers for WWE, and everybody just, blew them up. And, that's, so when I got the email, I saw the online campaign, and I was like, oh man, it's kind of cool. I don't know if it'll work, but I appreciate the sentiment about it. And
Yeah.
then, like I said, I'm sitting at home. I'm sitting at my desk, and Jim Ross calls and goes, Meanie, there's been a reprieve from the ward. And I was like, oh well, cool, thanks. So I think the next date was in Chicago. I land in Chicago, and then my baggage claim, and I run into Triple H in China, and they're like, "Hey, we heard you're back. Congratulations!" I'm like, yeah, thank you. They're like, "Yeah, we're like, he never really got a chance. The guy just got here. And there's a few people who came up to me like that and said, "Hey, didn't even give you a chance." And after JR and Bruce gave me my release, I'm walking around like a zombie. I go up to Meg. I was like, Meg, they just told me they were giving me my release. And Meg was like dumbfounded. He's like, what? He's like, the sentiment was, you just got here.
Right.
And that was everybody said, you just got here. And then like he gave me a little pep speech. I was like, hey, well, you'll go out in the Indies and you'll kill it, and you'll make that, fresh off of WWE TV money on the Indies. You'll do all right, And I'm like, yeah. And I went and found a bathroom stall and just fucking cried my eyes out because I don't want anybody to see me crying. But, just to get that call from JR saying, hey, there's been a reprieve from the ward, and that I was back. And the reason why I was back is because the fans went to bat for me.
Yeah.
That means a lot, And I had been told some of the boys kind of went to bat for me too. I don't know if that's 100%. I don't know how much of that is true, but if they did, that's awesome too, because they didn't have to.
Yeah.
But, when I saw the banter back and forth, there's a lot of, there's a lot of friendly discussion. I'll say that, people were going, disagreeing on whether it was a work or a shoot. And, if you say it's a work and, because, he was already lining up indie dates, that doesn't mean anything. Oh, I almost signed a contract to do appearances and indie dates. Well, before I went to before I wrestled for the WWE at the Great American Bash in 2005, I had an indie date booked that same day, and I was like, hey buddy, ain't coming.
Yep. Listen, brother, plans changed. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not wrestling in front of your 30 friends in somewhere Georgia, but he's like, but I announced you coming. I was like, well, you can announce I'm not coming.
I got something else. I got to go. Yeah.
I got bills to pay. And,
yeah.
To be fair, that was a booking I kind of, regretted, taking a return date on, because the first show was like, ugh.
Oh, no.
But I was like, ugh, this is shit. The whole experience. But I was like, I'll go back to WWE, and I'm, they're like, oh, you're a Grand American Bash, BWO versus the Mexicools. All right. Oh shit, I got an indie date. Oh shit, I better cancel that fucking indie date, And saying somebody he had to be released because he was talking about it. It's like, that doesn't mean anything.
No, not at all.
There's things you do to prolong the work. Dude, WWE released me, and I was, in part where it could be a shoot, WWE released me. I started talking to Victor Quinones about doing work in Puerto Rico, and then I was like, hey, when JR gave me the call, I was like, hey, well, WWE's bringing me back. I don't know if I could come down. Yeah, I mean, nothing was finalized, but
right.
Just the fact of saying that he was, about to take indie dates means nothing. When you're trying to, make the work.
Yeah.
So I was trying to think of a fancy word and I failed.
No, I was gonna say we have Vanessa here saying he's 50. R-Truth is 53.
Yeah.
He almost lost his leg after a torn quad last year. He got a nasty staph infection that led to other infections. God damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, it's just been it's been a whirlwind past week here, and I know that Jesse Brown says, moral of the story, if we all start chanting, we want Meanie, he'll appear in the Rumble. God damn it, let's get it started right now.
Yeah.
Let's get it started right now. You good
Well,
with going? You go with going to Saudi Arabia this year if you need to? You good? Did you imagine the fart stories from Saudi Arabia? Like I'm just thinking about the aroma of the from the heat, and then you farting in the ring, and then it's like, oh my god, I'm trapped in here because I've heard that it's very hot in the ring over there. So I'm just imagining that moment, the cloud, you know.
Yeah, man, let me go on Priceline and look at tickets for Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, I think it should be fine. Should be pretty cheap. Should be fine. We want Meanie. There we go. Thank you all. We'll keep updated on this. I'm excited to see where the R-Truth story goes, but I know we're both very happy to see him back, and we're excited.
I'm ecstatic, man. Like I was watching. I went out for a couple daddy sodas at McCusker's last night, and I was watching on my phone. And as soon as I saw his the hoodie go up, I seen it, seen his back, and I was like, I know that muscular back. That's all true.
Yeah, like I said, we're gonna keep monitoring this, and I'm excited to see where it goes. I hope he gets integrated fully with the John Cena heel turn. But Meanie,
yes.
Speaking of another heel turn, well, maybe not a heel turn, but you got a shout out. Excuse me. I have a frog in my throat, apparently. You have a shout out.
Let him out.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying. Dominic Mysterio did a video this past week where he goes sneaker shopping. I believe it's with Complex. Yes. And they have different wrestlers and different entertainers show up and they go sneaker shopping and they talk about all these things. And you got a shout out by Dirty Dom, that rotten rat bastard, Dirty Dominic Mysterio. You got a shout out from him. Let's talk about that. That's pretty freaking cool, man, to get that nod from him. Let's talk about that. I haven't watched it on purpose because I want to get your thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. A friend of mine sent me the link. He's like, hey, did you see Dom mention? I was like, no, what? And he sent me the link, and I watched it, and it was like pretty early on in the clip too. And they were talking about, his, Dom's sneaker game, and they brought up a photo of like him and his mom, and he's got these like little slide on Jordan sneakers or whatever, something like that. And as soon as I saw the, my friend told me I got mentioned by Dom. I go to watch the video, and they show the photo from him and his mom from Hawaii. I automatically knew the story he was about to tell. And it was really cool that he mentioned, because he was super young when this happened. So like post WWE, post ECW closes. I start doing indies, and I got a booking in Hawaii, and it was and then two of the names on the show were me and Rey Mysterio, working with the local talent. And Ray, brought his whole family over, his wife, Dom, and Aaliyah, who was a baby at the time. We've seen Aaliyah on TV as this full-grown adult, but like this time she was still in a stroller. That's how young it was. And Dom was, little. He wasn't even as big as Dom was when he was working with Eddie and Ray doing the "Who's Your Poppy" angle. So, we do the indie and, have an amazing time. So they show the photo during the thing of him and his mom. And I recognized it because the promoter and their crew, like the one day they took us all, the day after the show, they took us all around the island. We went to Hilo, the Hawaii, the island is Hilo, where the Kilauea volcano is. Mm. So we went to where Kilauea was, and you could literally go to the edge and like look over. But we're walking back to the cars and these rocks. So like I run over, I had somebody take a photo of me standing on this like rock, like it's like a boulder. And then Ray was like, "Hey, yeah, let's do that too." So Ray and Dom got up on the rock and took a photo, and then Ray's wife, Dom's mom, got up and they took and they show this photo, and I recognized it right off the bat because, we had all taken the photo in the exact same spot. So he's like, they're showing this photo of young Dom with his sneakers and he's laughing. He's like, yeah, we were, on a trip and like, I don't expect Dom's, memory of this to be crystal clear. He was a kid, He's like, yeah, we were on a family vacation in Hawaii and a couple wrestlers came over. I think they were called the BWO. And to be honest, it was just me, not Stevie and Nova weren't there, which is fine. Like I said, he was literally maybe 5 years old at the time. And, and he's, and then they put up a graphic on the show of the BWO. And then while he's talking, they give us a little lower third, explaining who the BWO were. And, to watch that, I mean, that was super cool to, just to be remembered, I was like, dude, because I'm always like, if I ever run into Dom, I kind of want to talk to him about this story. And then, the fact that he just brought it up on his own on this show was awesome. So, shout out to my friend Ben Ortmans. He's a great worker from up in Canada. He's the one who, smartened me up to it. He's like, Ben, sent me a message. I was like, saying, hey, did you see the shout out from Dom? I was like, I'm trying to put two and two together, and as soon as I saw the photo of Dom and his mom on the rock in Hawaii, I knew what he immediately was going to talk about, and I got such a huge kick out of it.
That's awesome.
And speaking of smell, like he's like, yeah, it smelled over there, and which I can't take the blame for that one, but
right.
We were, that day we were driving around. There's so many like different like sulfur mines.
Oh no!
And like the whole, there's a part of the island that that smells like straight up farts. So the fact that you remembered that, like we're near the volcano and there's all this sulfur coming up and it smelled like farts, popped me even more, But yeah, I did a little tweet out to him. Hopefully, he sees. I don't know how much he follows social media, but
yep. Well, I was gonna say, James and I are going to see him on James's birthday on the 22nd. He'll be up at Fanatics Fest, and I got James one of the photo ops with him. So I'll make sure I pass the message to him when I see him there.
Please,
I will do so. I'm happy to do so. Jesse Brown says, yeah, the first time Meanie eats some different food, shit may literally hit the fan.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah, listen, we've all been there, brother. It happens. That was the first and last time I ate at Gino's. But Devin Dowling says, hey, the big blue mean guy that drinks green Gatorade and wears green. That's right. And sometimes we wear different colors here some days. Today I chose to wear blue.
My Dallas We Hate You shirt.
There you go.
If you're an old school ECW fan, I mean, not ECW, Eagles fan, and back in the day, there was like there's a NFL Films piece on the Dallas Eagles feud. And there's this guy in the crowd goes, Dallas, we hate you. We hate you, Dallas. And somebody did a screen cap of the guy going, Dallas, we hate you. And it's bootleg as fuck, but I like it.
Yeah. There's James West. I don't know if I would have put this one up. He says, Dirty Dom Mysterio, the WWE Intercourse Champion. My man is, listen, whew, crazy.
Yeah. He's
Crazy.
Trophies, man.
Yeah, and he's got some good stuff here. But speaking of some good stuff here, Meanie, I'm sitting here pondering for a second, and I thought to myself, boy, what if I perchance may ask Meanie a question?
Oh, I mean, if you're going to ask me a question, I mean, what could it possibly be?
I think I have really just one, sir. Are you ready to ask Meanie?
I would love to. It's time to ask Meanie anything. Ask me something.
Don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie, and you may hear them on the show. You can also drop them in the chat here. Thanks to our friends at Brass Ring Media for hosting the show each and every week. We appreciate you. Meanie, what you sipping on, brother?
Today, I remembered my seltzer, like a good podcast host, specifically to Minded to Meanie, because we're the only seltzer podcast. So.
That's true.
I got a Georgia peach today.
Ooh, there we go.
I'm excited to try this one. I have not tried this before.
I have my my usual go-to here. It's the cheap shit from Aldi. It's the pink grapefruit sparkling frost here. It's usually the good stuff. Save one every week for the show, unless the kids drink it. Let's pop these suckers here. 3, 2, 1. There she is.
Oh,
Cheers, beers. Pinkies up.
yep.
Oh yeah, that's good shit, brother. Hell, guys will look at this and go, "Hell yeah, brother!" But
Yeah. What I like about that is the smell hit before the taste,
yeah,
and that's how most people describe my farts. Oh, the smell hit before I tasted it.
Oh my god, we got a lot of good questions here in the chat today.
Of course we did.
Let's talk to first. We're going to start with Man Sanity. He's got 2 questions for us today, but we'll do this. He says, "Talk about R-Truth. Do you think this could actually lead his return? Rather, could actually lead to a Ron Killings world title run?"
That's why I'm thinking, it was a work all along because, let's have him go out with, under his real name. Let's give his real name some recognition, Ron Killings. Let's have maybe a shot at the title, or even if he holds it for a week. Record books don't give a shit. You're still a world champion. So this, he's done so much great stuff for the company. I think this is the company maybe paying, some dividends back, paying, rewarding him for all his years of entertaining the fans. And maybe this is his, like I said, maybe he went to the company and said, "Hey, I only got so much of my bump card left. Can have a serious, let my last run be like a little bit of a serious one,
Mm-hmm.
And we'll see, probably tomorrow on Raw or whichever show he is. This whole brand split, annoys me, but yeah, we'll see. To me, that's also what makes me think it's a work. The fact that they're bringing back his Ron Killings instead of R-Truth.
Yeah.
And they had graphics and a shirt designed up. So it's like I can see both sides of the argument, but
yep.
If it was a work, is a well done work because I bought in, everybody talked about it, and I can see how people would not want to admit they were worked. And if they worked me, bravo, thank you for working me because it's hard to work me anymore, But if they give them at least one shot at the title, or maybe a week or a couple weeks, or like a pay-per-view cycle, 4-week run in between, pay-per-views, and say, Cena gets back, and then, maybe Cody gets back from Cena.
Yeah.
We'll see, but I would not be opposed to it.
Let's see. Aaron Atherton says, "Hey Meanie, what's the one match type you dreaded getting booked in?"
Oh, dude, fucking 3-ways.
Oh,
It just and there was a period where I was working a few of them, and I just hate it. I hate the psychology of it. I mean, they're entertaining to most because that's why they still do them.
Yeah.
As a wrestler, it's just like, especially if you're, or maybe maybe it could be the fact that I was in there with people with a little bit less experience to me, and I'm calling out spots for everybody. I'm thinking of spots for instead of me and one person, I'm thinking of spots for me and 3 people now. Me and 2 other guys, and try to figure a way to entertain people. And it's kind of a little bit of a clusterfuck, but there's been entertaining ones, but as far as me doing them, not a fan. I just like doing traditional one-on-ones, or dude, my whole career, most of my career, I've been a tag team guy. When I first started training at Al's, I was in a tag team there. Go to ECW, I'm part of a faction with Raven and Stevie. I'm tagging with Stevie. Stevie leaves, and I'm in a tag team with Nova. So, I'm more of a tag team guy, but I was never a fan of getting booked in 3-ways. And like there's a period where I was doing a lot of them. I was just getting tired of it. I was like, I don't like this at all.
Let's see. The boss says here, so we got one question on the actual ladder matches last night, and then we have two coming up on Worlds Collide. So the boss wants to know whose star shined or was the breakout person last night for each ladder match. And I have my picks, but I want to know Meanie's.
Who was the star of each ladder match?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, that's a good question. You go first.
I would say for the women's match, Stephanie Vicaire. I've already been a fan of her since I found out about her coming in, but I think she's really going to be something in this company. I just, her and Julia are just really fantastic, both solid workers. I love that they're sort of setting the seeds for the Rhea Ripley feud that's eventually going to happen. And I think Julia is going to end up in a feud with Zelina Vega, which probably will end up with her having the Women's United States Championship at some point. For the men's ladder match, I mean, Penta, right? Like Penta is just absolutely an incredible worker, just unbelievable. What was it? The Mexican Destroyer he did to, was it Andrade on top of the ladder? Was like, holy shit, man.
Yeah.
But again, I mean, for me, right, I understand the concept behind why they put the briefcase on Seth Rollins. Like, I get it storyline wise. But for me personally, this is just me. I'm not speaking for Meanie. I really feel like they're doing a disservice to LA Knight. Like, I really feel like they're just doing a disservice to him. Put that fucking title on him. Give him a world heavyweight championship run. Give him something, right? Yeah. Anything. We got to capitalize on this guy at some point. I feel like LA Knight is kind of a victim of that timeline with the bloodline because of how popular he got so quickly. They weren't going to take that belt off of Roman for him, but I feel like he got over so fast and now they're in this weird place. And I just feel like they did a disservice. LA Knight shines in pretty much everything he does. But I think for me, my money would be on Penta in the men's match and then Stephanie Vicaire. If they weren't already, massive, popular, I think they're really going to get their shine going forward.
And I agree. I mean, Stephanie, she's been in the company. Well, she was in NXT for a little bit, but coming to the main roster, like she's kind of just shooting up, the ladder,
Yeah.
I had a thought and it dissipated. When it comes to the men's ladder match, I thought for sure that it would have been down to either Solo or I thought it was going to be Solo or Seth. And I thought they were going to give it to Solo just for the fact that, since Solo has been the leader of Bloodline 2.0, his momentum's kind of slowed down a little bit, And I thought maybe, a men's and, give him the men's Money in the Bank would kind of breathe a little bit of life into, him as, a member of the leader of, 2.0. But then we, see Jacob Fatu, turn on Solo. And I'm sitting in the bar and watching and, just, what Jesse Brown said there on the screen. I kind of called him going, I hate you, Solo, because what is he known for saying? I love you, Solo. And he grabs his boot and Solo can't, get up there. And he looks down and he's like, I hate you. I in the bar, I went, I hate you, Solo. And then he says it and I was like, yeah, woo.
Mm-hmm.
Woo, look at Big Brain and Brian. Yeah, I tend to agree with you on those two for shining on the money. The person who stole the day, I thought, was Mr. Iguana.
Yes,
on the AAA show, that dude was over, and I can't wait till they start pumping out Mr. Iguana, puppets.
Yeah. Oh, that's coming soon. That is 100% happening soon.
Dude, like I was saying, I was going to post this and I didn't post it, because I don't want, this is like, before the main event and before everything. I was like, man, I'd love to see a skit between R-Truth and Mr. Iguana where he's walking around the back and he sees Mr. Iguana go and he calls him Green Dust. He goes, yo, dog, Green Dust, where's Cody, dog? But Now,
So good.
if Brian's going to be a serious character, we'll never get to see it. But it's in my heart.
And just because we got 2 quick questions here about Worlds Collide. If you haven't had a chance to watch it, go out of your way to check it out. I mean, it is just a phenomenal presentation. The Vikingo and Chad Gable match was, I mean, just unbelievable. If you've never watched a Vikingo match before, if you're not familiar with his work, you can start there and then just go back and find everything that the guy's ever done. Because it's just, I hope they give him like a proper run in WWE because he is just incredible. Mass Sanity says, did you watch the original Worlds Collide event? I watched live and became an instant fan of Los Gringos Locos. Allegedly, that match caused Paul Heyman to want them in ECW.
Yeah. I was at I think I was at Al Snow's gym when that happened. And Al flew out to California because he was going to be on the show. I forgot like how he got booked for it, but a bunch of us, watched the pay-per-view, or we at least got a copy and watched it at the gym. But yeah, that original when Worlds Collide event was great.
Mm-hmm.
It's like one of those events that happened that, I think everybody who saw it, will agree. It was probably one of the best shows of like the early 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And it introduced Lucha Libre to a whole new world. And, ironically, it led to a lawsuit between ECW and WCW because ECW had an event called When Worlds Collide. And that lawsuit resulted in ECW getting Bobby Eaton and Arn Anderson for a couple dates, as a settlement. So,
wow.
Yeah. So, that the original one had a kind of a couple, effects on wrestling. Al Snow was supposed to be on the show. He was flown out there. He was backstage, and then ECW got to have Arn and Bobby in ECW because they accidentally used an ECW show name. So.
Devin Dowling, our last question of the day, says, a person you tagged with at least once on the indies, Savio Vega, was at Worlds Collide last night. Do you have a Savio Vega story that you can share?
Savio has always been the best. We were in ECW at the same time. I mean, WWE at the same time, or WWF, whatever you call it. Savio's always been great. Always greets me with a smile. Hey, how you doing? I guess one of my favorite stories is I got to work with him in MLW. We were doing that Battle Riot match, and he came out twice, once as Savio, and then he came out later as Quang. And,
right.
And we got to do a spot where I shoot him off, duck the clothesline, turn around, and he spit the blue mist in my face.
Oh, sick, dude.
Ended up hitting me, and if it was anybody else, I'd be like, ew, no, gross. But Savio as Quang shooting blue mist in my face, and for me to get pinned by Quang was definitely a highlight for me. And I have nothing but love for Savio. I brought my buddy Giovanni Hamilton backstage at MLW, and Savio was there, and Gio's Puerto Rican. A lot of people don't know. His family, his parents, his dad's Puerto Rican. So he's standing there with his dad, and Savio comes over and goes, Boricua. And they start speaking in Spanish. It's like the coolest thing, It's just to watch it happen. And, me and Gio are just like, looking back and forth like, oh, this is cool.
Cool. Yeah.
Savio has always been great, man. I love him. My day's always better when I see Savio.
Last thing here on the Mr. Iguana, Mass Sanity says there are already Mr. Iguana shirts in WWE shop. So, brother,
I'm gonna load up the cart.
Here's what I want to see: Mr. Iguana, R-Truth, win the TNA spot with Santino Marella. I'm just throwing it out there, guys. I'm just saying. Papa H, I know you listen to the show. Hunter, friend of the show, sir. That's a free piece of advice there. You can take that one with you.
But over with me.
Yeah, listen, we love it. And I think that's the name of the show. Mr. Iguana is over with me. But Meanie, you're also over with me, sir, and I appreciate your time here. And we want to thank you all for your questions each and every week. Lots of great ones. As always, don't forget to tweet us your questions using the hashtag AskMeanie or drop them here in the chat. But Meanie!
Oh, yeah.
With all things blue, you're listening to the program.
If you would like to follow the Blue Meanie on all forms of social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, at Blue Meanie BWO on all forms of social media. If you'd like to support the Blue Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Blue Meanie. If you'd like to support Mind of the Meanie, go to ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. MadCatBeardCare.com. Get the Blue Spruce Beard Oil or Balm. Shout out to Josh Thorne doing an amazing job over there taking care of the cats. He rounds them up, takes them to the vet, releases them better than he found them. So if you're a cat lover like myself, but you want to look good and smell good, go to MadCatBeardCare.com. The Ultra Pro Wrestling video game coming to all major consoles. Ultra Pro Wrestling contains not only original characters by the amazing Hal Haney, but many real-world wrestlers, including myself and many others I'm trying not to spoil. Go to ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. That's ultraprowrestling.com or follow them on Twitter at UPW Video Game. The Figure Collections Bone Crushing Series Wrestlers variants. Start that one over. The Bone Crushing Collections. The Figure Collections Bone Crushing Wrestler Series 1 variants of the Blue Meanie are available now. All Series 1s can be ordered right now at shop.figurecollections.com. That's shop.figurecollections.com. Type Blue Meanie in the search bar. You can get regular Blue Meanie or BWO Blue Meanie. Either way, there is no wrong choice. To have the Blue Meanie on your podcast, go to podstars.net. That's podstrz.net. Register your podcast, book the Blue Guy, and let's have a conversation over there at podstars.net. Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO for birthdays, holidays, and well wishes. Please book through the site and not through the app. That takes way too much of your hard-earned money. But let's make somebody's day a little bit better and a little bit brighter over at Cameo.com/Blue Meanie BWO. Most importantly, Mr. Bernard, where can we find you, sir?
Oh, well, thank you, sir. I appreciate that. You can find me on Instagram, Twitter, the old TikTok, Threads. I'm trying again. I'm not really sure if I want to do it, but you can find me there at This Is Goober. Yes, it's my handle. No, I'm not changing it. It's a brand, pal. So find me there. Don't forget to check out my work at Screen Rant. I'm doing network TV. I'm doing music. Go and check out all of my articles there. Lots of great stuff coming up. Lots of fun things on the way as well. So go and check it out at screenrant.com. Don't forget to check out my other show, Foundation Radio, by going to foundationradio.net and at youtube.com/@foundationradiopod. Interviews include with Rhea Ripley, with Bailey, with Dirty Dominic Mysterio. So go check them out there in the archives now. Shout out to the homies 10th Ward Barbershop in downtown Lawrenceville on the outskirts of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Go and get your hair cut today by scheduling your appointment by Kane or Jordan or the rest of the team. And you can do it online right at this moment at 10th Ward Barbershop.com. ProWrestlingTees.com/Mind of the Meanie. Pick up a shirt and keep the lights on at the Casa de Meanie and the Barnard Home for Wayward and Troubled Youth. Don't forget to go to Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Tiers start, Meanie. I don't know if you know this, Blue, as a friend of the show, Dave LaGreca would call you by your first given name. Tiers start at just $10 a month. You can join us. That's what I know, right? You can join the Pod Squad, and you can get one of these official Pod Squad membership cards signed in blue ink by the Blue Guy himself. Go and sign up today at Patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie, YouTube.com/@Mind of the Meanie. Our entire show archive is listed there. You can listen to everything we have going all the way back in the year of our Lord Jesus Christ, 2021 and beyond. So go check it out right now. Don't forget to follow us on all of our socials down here. Everywhere you are social, we are social there as well. And we want to thank you all for being a part of the show this week and keeping us here, that we do this show for you. So we want to thank you. For the Blue Meanie, I am Adam Barnard. Wait, hold on one second. Real fast before we go, Jesse Brown says, before the show ends, I've had 3 people say, hell yes, for my new Blue Meanie shirt in public. People will look at that shirt, sir, and go, hell yeah, brother. So that's what we do, man. I love it, man. I tell you, I've said it on the show multiple times. Every time I get stopped somewhere, every time I'm wearing a BWO shirt, anytime I bring up the Blue Meanie, the response is the same. Blue Meanie, I love that guy.
Oh,
Who
man,
doesn't?
That's too kind.
It's pretty cool. But it's pretty cool being here with y'all. So we'll see you again, same bat time, same bat channel next week for the Blue Meanie. I am Adam Bernard. Join us again each and every week as we take a trip through the mind of the Meanie. Peace.
Blue World Order.
This episode of Mind of the Meanie is hosted and executively produced by the Blue Meanie and Adam Barnard. It was mixed and engineered by Carl Pinnell. Additional narration is provided by the executive voice, Sam Krebs. That's me. Our intro music was performed by the Swamp Candles. Our outro music was performed by Chikara. Additional musical accompaniment is performed by Enrichment. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or X or whatever, at Mind of the Meanie, and become part of the Pod Squad by going to patreon.com/Mind of the Meanie. Find our entire show archive at mindofthemeanie.com. This has been a Butts Carlton media production. Butts Carlton, proprietor.
Blue World Order.
That was Blue Meanie's brain out.